What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the vlog. I hope you liked that last one with this deck inlay. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna be hard to impress. I think this bar and privacy wall might be a little bit cooler, but you probably still won't be happy, so I don't know what to tell you. Please hit subscribe if you're enjoying this. Today, we're gonna work on getting this privacy wall figured out, figuring out this bar. A lot of crazy trim details on this, so I'm gonna walk you through thinking and planning behind it, and also the execution, so stay tuned. So I'm gonna start on this privacy wall here, and you can see we actually ran out of black stain, so we're gonna use flashing tape over these. There's only a 3/16 gap between each board, so it's not gonna be a big deal, but we still like to get these black so that everything behind it just totally fades away, and all you see are those boards. We have horizontal Tundra boards going in here, right up to this halfway point, 28.5 inches on both sides, and then this whole center portion behind the TV is going to be herringbone. So over these seams, we are going to have a 3.5 inch piece of trim that covers this seam, so these don't have to be perfect. I like to do that whenever possible because it just makes the installation a lot faster, and it's a nice detail. Looks a little bit better, plus it's easier. That's what I call a win-win. So we are gonna have 13 horizontal 5.5 inch Tundra boards going on both sides of the wall, both sides this way, plus front and back. So I have to cut 52 pieces at 28.5, and then we can install those. We have a bunch of scraps here to start with, so I'm gonna start with those. Bing, bang, boom, just like that. We have all 52 of these pieces cut. Probably took me about 20 minutes. So whenever possible, if you have a lot of the same cuts, just set up, get them all cut at the same time while you're in a rhythm, and then you have them sitting here. So what I've done, because we are going to have, on this side, it's gonna be flush up against this post. We're not gonna have any trim covering it. You can see on these cut boards, I made my mark, put a huge tail on that line so that this has been a cut that was on the miter saw, so it's nice and clean. Look at that, perfect. Leads to a nice, beautiful edge.
So beautiful.
All right, so I got all of these pieces cut for our straight horizontal Tundra board. So this is one of those boards. This is just gonna go just like that. The herringbone is gonna meet in the center, basket weave up, and then we're gonna 45 this, but this seam is gonna be covered by a 3.5 inch trim board. So, you wanna come a little closer, Joshy? Here's my mark. That is our 28.5 inch board. So, I know that this dies right here. Our herringbone needs to be on a 45. Here's the center of our board. This is our center point right here. So I make that flush with my line that is right here. I can pull a measurement from there down to here, straight end of the cut to the long side of my miter. I'm gonna be at 52 inches. It'll leave us like a 3/4 inch gap between these, so nothing is gonna be too tight getting in there, and then that'll be covered with a trim board. Now I have my measurement. I've got a lot of these to cut, and I can get set up on the saw, cut all of these pieces, and they'll be ready to install.
That's planning, baby.
So what I've done, here are the 24 boards cut down to 52 inches. I have left a long tail on our line to demarcate which is the cut side with the miter saw, so that is nice and square. And now this side is going to be where the miter is. So all I'm gonna do, I also have them facing all the same direction, so all the good cuts are down there. They're all upside down, so I can just go like this. Let's see, I'm trying to hold the camera and do this. Take my speed square, boom, 45. Got that, so I can cut that. I know I need 12 of each, so I'm gonna mark 12 like this and 12 like that. So now I've got it all figured out. You don't have to stand at the saw and kind of switch around and be like, which side's my long side? I know which ones they are. I can trace them all, cut them, take them 2 minutes. We are ready to rock and roll on this wall, and with everything pre-cut, I think it's gonna go pretty fast, but we do have 2 sides to do, front and back. And Scooter's birthday today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Josh!
We got all 12 of our full pieces up here, and now it's hitting the corner, so we're gonna need some cuts. Ant's gonna call them out to me. I'll make the cuts.
13 and 5/8.
13 and 5/8. Ant's gonna call out the cuts. I'm gonna cut them, hand them up to him. He'll install them. Should just be a couple more minutes and we'll get this done. And then we're on to the backside, because we gotta finish the back. It's gotta look beautiful when you walk in the gate, because that's just gonna be a sample of what this whole deck is gonna look like. It's gonna be freaking beautiful. We got all of our field boards up. Now we're just trimming this thing out, and you can see we use the camo gun on here so you can't see any screws. All of our screws right here are gonna be covered by the trim. So we'll just have some plugs in the middle, but that's it. And I'll show you how that trim's gonna go up. Bing, bang, boom. Look at that. So we're basically going to frame out this entire area, and it's just gonna give it a nice little detail. And the TV's gonna sit right in the middle there. We have this privacy wall front all wrapped up, and now it is time to get to the most exciting deck bar install that you've ever seen. It's gonna be pretty wild. So what we have going on, we're trying some new techniques here. You can see we have this temp piece up here. Waterfall edge. So I'm gonna show you how we are gonna achieve that look, but we want these miters to be bulletproof. So we're cutting it out of the same board and we're folding it over, so it's not even a miter. It's a waterfall edge. I'll show you how we're gonna do that, and it's gonna create a super, super cool look, because on this side, our trim's gonna go all the way down, overlap our trim on this fascia, and run all the way down to the ground, and it's gonna be an alternating color because we have the light Tundra overlapping that Sierra. It's gonna be really sweet. We're also gonna have that waterfall edge come down this side, and what we're gonna do is have two breaker boards. So we'll cut these lengths long. We can cut it with a track saw. We're gonna have a breaker board here, and we're gonna have a breaker board here, and that is gonna go through this, and it's gonna be a divider in the trough. Because this is 10 feet long, you're gonna need a lot of freaking ice to fill this thing up. So what we wanna do is basically create 3 compartments on this. So if it's just a couple people out there, you can put maybe 1 or 2 bags of ice in here, stock up your drinks, and you're good to go. The full trough will be reserved for the biggest parties. We got this figured out pretty good. We used a bunch of temp pieces, scraps, to get this figured out. See our little boneyard there. The key is we have this set to almost cut through the board. Take this V out of it. We've got this measurement figured out so the miter's nice and tight. And now we need to hit it with the heat gun for about 2 minutes. That seems to be the magic number to be able to fold it. There's no whitening of the board at that seam, and it works out really well. So 2 minutes seems to be the key. So we're gonna hit it with the heat gun, fold it over. Should be money. That's what we call a nice waterfall cascading miter, anti-miter folded edge. Perfectly executed. We have all of these for this side cut. Check this out. We got the double fold here going into the trough. That looks amazing. We're just about ready to start installing these, so we're putting these in. These are gonna be our spacers, and we just wanna double check all of our spacing, make sure we've got a similar overhang on both sides, and then we can make some adjustments, but whew.
Did good. It looks freaking awesome.
We are getting our first side done here, and you can see this nice waterfall edge. Looks really sweet. And then it overlaps our horizontal Sierra boards. Ant did a freaking excellent job executing these miters. Folds, miter folds?
Miter folds, folded miters.
Miter folded miters waterfalling. cascading down a beautiful bar. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about this. We have more to go over there, and then we'll show you how we're gonna do the top of this bar. Ant's got this all figured out, so he's cut all of the pieces for this side of the bar. He's heating them up, bending them right now, and I'm gonna start figuring out our cuts to start some of this trim, because we still have a lot more pieces that go on the front and the back side of this after we get this waterfall done. So I'm gonna show you how we're figuring that out. I'm gonna start on this front detail. This is gonna be very simple. We just have 7 boards stacked up, no gaps on this, so it'll be tight seams. And this is a rough cut. It's at 123 3/4. Both sides are gonna be covered up with a piece that goes this way. So I was able to just cut those all out front with a circular saw. That made it a lot quicker. So I have all the pieces cut, I can get those installed, and then we can start working on some of this wraparound trim, which is gonna finish this off. And once we get the top on and we get this going, it's gonna look insane, so I'm pretty psyched. I think my favorite part so far is the double fold that goes into the trough. Woo! Whew. Last piece. Gotta screw that down. Look at this cascading edge. Oh, it looks so pretty. Got the grain right down. So we have our 2 sections of waterfall, one on this side, one on that side, and we have 2 breaker boards going in here. So we've got the track saw set up, cut through that. Bing, bang, boom. Then we'll have a 3.5 inch piece. Look at that. You can't do that without a track saw. Buy one. And just like that, we are wrapped up with this bar, minus some plugs, but I'm calling it finished. It looks freaking awesome. So let me show you some of the details that we got going on here, because there's a lot of them. Check that out. Looks freaking awesome. They also just got the stools today. So we got the stools matching here with the black. Looks amazing. Probably the coolest thing here is our double fold. So we fold over the edge of the deck, and we also fold into this trough. Let me show you the trough. So we had this custom made. It is a 8 inch by 8 inch by 10 foot aluminum trough. See, we have some plugs in here, so they can fill this all up with ice and their drinks, and it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna put some dividers in here, and that'll keep it separated so they can fill this area up with ice. They don't need to fill up the whole thing all at once. I love how this just cascades right over the edge. It becomes that reveal detail. We ripped down a dark slate board for this little detail here, which looks really sweet. Just check this out. We've also got outlets on it. Charge your phone right there. Still gotta plug this. A lot of plugs to go in here, but I am super psyched with how this turned out. Just looks amazing. Privacy wall, all wrapped up. Look at that herringbone. We're gonna have a TV on here. Looking really sweet. Looking really sweet. I think the best view of this bar is from right here. See how the waterfall edge just comes down, overlaps our 3.5 inch Sierra boards there. Look at that. That just looks freaking awesome. So that is pretty much it for this bar and privacy wall build. We're almost wrapped up this project. It's really coming together, so stay tuned. But until next time, this is Premier Outdoor Living.